So this sleek, futuristic-ish looking vehicle is the 2026 Hyundai Ioniq 9 all-electric three-row SUV. It's based on the same platform and fundamentals as the Kia EV9. The Ioniq 9 competes with the Cadillac Vistiq, the Rivian R1S, and even the Volkswagen ID.Buzz. On consumerreports.org, you can see how the Ioniq 9's test results compare with these and other EVs by using our comprehensive compare tool. For our test program, we bought a 2026 Hyundai Ioniq 9 SEL. It has a $66,320 MSRP, to which we added $920 of options. With the $1,600 destination fee, the total cost was $68,840. The final assembly point for the Ioniq 9 is Ellabelle, Georgia. There are 3 powertrains available. Our mid-level SEL has standard all-wheel drive through a 66 kilowatt, 88 horsepower front motor and a 160 kilowatt, 215 horsepower rear motor. EPA estimated range for our SEL is 320 miles. Of course, there's always going to be comparisons between the Kia EV9 and the Hyundai Ioniq 9 with styling. The Hyundai is much sleeker, much swoopier. It has a huge LED array on the front fenders, has a big light bar across the front as well. But what you notice is that it's sleek and swoopy, not blocky like the Kia. Nicely filled in wheel arches. Here, the biggest difference that you see styling-wise is that the roof slopes down significantly to the back and it has what Hyundai calls boat tail styled rear end. And while very attractive in my opinion, it does have a potential of compromising cargo space when you load it in. It's very curved in there, whereas the Kia has a very squared off box in the back. One similarity between the Kia and the Hyundai are the door handles. While driving, these are flush. They retract into the body. But when you stop, they pop out. With a quick pull, you're inside. It's very, very easy to get into the cabin because it has a narrow and low sill that's very simple to step over. And the seats are hip height. So you just kind of slide in versus having to step up and climb into the seats or plop down low into them. It's easy to find a comfortable seating position from the power adjustable front seats. Our SEL has a manual adjustable steering column, but once you're set, you have easy access to the controls, you have great visibility out front, very thin windshield pillars, a nice little cutout sail panel here so you can see between the mirror and the pillar, big side windows as well, so looking over your shoulder, either way, you do have good visibility. Only 2 real big drawbacks to the seating position. First of all, depending on how you sit, the steering wheel can block some of the gauge cluster because it doesn't move with the steering wheel. And then also the view out back is really compromised. First, by the curved boat tail styling, but also when those 3rd row seats are up, the head restraints significantly block that back window. Add in the big, thick, chunky D-pillars at the back, and it is kind of tough to see out back. You're gonna really wanna use the backup camera if you're reversing. So there's a ton of storage space in the Ioniq 9. For example, you have 2 giant cup holders up front, as well as bottle holders in each door. Under the center armrest is a generously sized storage area that has a little removable tray. In addition, you have 2 very deep storage areas in the center console. This front one's really accessible and it's great. It's rubberized, so you can throw an extra phone in there or some keys. This one is a little less useful. It's a very far reach. It's very deep inside. But again, great to hide things away if you're parking, you want stuff out of view. Finally, a really nice glove box because it's damped, so it opens up very slowly. It doesn't just drop down, even though it is plasticky. There's even this really cool cubby right here in front of the passenger seat. We really like the fact that there are a lot of physical buttons and knobs for the controls. All of these buttons here on the top for home, going to the map, shortcut to the media, jumping between tracks, buttons, not touch capacitive. That's really great. Also, if you want to use a climate control, at least you could adjust the temperature with knobs. Radio, power, on, off, and tuning, seeking, again, knobs. However, a couple drawbacks. The fact that you have these touch capacitive buttons, they're very low mounted. So it's hard to do something with them while you're driving. It's distracting to look down because you have no way of really doing it by feel to adjust something. Now, during my driving, I tried to use the voice commands and it was about 50-50 when it would work or not work. I would try to adjust the temperature up and down. Sometimes it would work, sometimes it wasn't always working. Couldn't adjust the fan speed at all. It would make major jumps. So it's not really a great workaround to use voice when it's very hard to do it. So continuing the theme, it's really nice that there are buttons over here on the driver's side for opening the charge port door, opening the front trunk, Go to the steering wheel. Again, you have thumb wheels, you have levers, and you have physical buttons, not touch capacitive. Again, one more thing where it's very nice to be able to have something that you can feel versus guess that you're touching it. Finally, on the right side of the steering wheel is the new style Kia Hyundai gear selector. It has a start-stop button that's visible through the steering wheel, the park button's on the side, and you rotate the knobs that you could choose between drive, reverse, and neutral. It's awkward at first, but with time, you will get used to using it. The interior feels really well constructed of pretty high quality materials. Starts out with the leather wrap steering wheel. You have synthetic leather seats that have exposed stitching that are very comfortable, very supportive. Even the plastics feel really high quality. There is a big swath of plastic across here, but it doesn't feel like it's flimsy or anything like that. Very nice contrasting wood look element in front of the passenger. Also, you have nice armrests. They're symmetrical. One drawback, they could be a little more padded underneath. Even the top panel of the door, it's hard, but it's nicely constructed. Really interestingly, there's these ribbed panels that are illuminated on the doors, and it's really pleasing to touch and feel, and it looks really nice to the eye because of the way it catches the light. All in all, it's a very, very, very nice interior, very well constructed. You get a heated steering wheel as well as you get heated and ventilated seats, which isn't something you always find in a mid-level trim. It's almost as if you're at the SEL level for the Ioniq 9, there's not really a lot that you get from some of the top trims to make you spend $5,000 to $10,000 more. It's a nice space. The biggest element that you see in the front seats are the two 12.3-inch screens that sit up high on the dash. So while they look like one unit, they are actually separate pieces. The gauge cluster up front, you have all of your controls for when you see the doors open in the car. So all the expected things that you're going to see in the driver information cluster. Here you have Hyundai's current styling for the infotainment system with vertical tiles where you can go back and forth. You can jump into the wireless CarPlay or wireless Android Auto. The screen is curved a little bit towards the driver. Depending on your seating position, it's a pretty easy reach to the screen. What we do like, big icons, big text, easy to read at a glance. There is one thing though that I do have to hit Hyundai on for the interior. At $66,000, we still had to pay $230 extra to get carpeted floor mats. Come on, $66,000 and we're paying extra for floor mats? Hyundai, it's fine maybe in a lower level vehicle, not at this level. So, if it was easy to get in the front, it's even easier to get into the back. The door opens almost 90 degrees, creating a huge opening. Totally flat floor, so there's lots of foot room for the center passenger, passengers on either side. 60-40 split seats, which means that you can slide them individually. So you can pull one up if you want more room for the people in the back while having more room for the passenger in the second row. What you do get are heated outboard seats in the SEL, as well as a third zone climate control, so you could adjust it independently of the front seats. Keeps the Hyundai and Kia tradition of having the USB ports. These are USB-Cs on the front driver's seat, which is really nice. They're up high, so you don't have cables dragging along your floor. So to get into the third row, there's two ways. Outside, there's a button here, as well as up top on the top of the seat, which works for people in the back seat to get out. Just a quick press of that, the seat pivots and tilts forward, gives you a very big opening to climb through. Now you can see here with the seats at the furthest back spot in the second row, there's not a ton of legroom, particularly for adults. If you slide the seat forward a little bit, yeah, there's a little more room so adults can be on a short trip, take 6 adults out to dinner or something like that, but the space is much better for 2 kids overall. Second row storage is further enhanced by this very deep space underneath here. It has a little partition so stuff doesn't slide away too far. But also, if you need to grab something from the center console, you don't have to ask for it to be passed from the front. You can just open it from the back and reach in yourself. At the back, you can really see the boat tail styling and how much the roof slopes down. Opening up is really nice. A simple button that's not hidden in an area that gets dirty. With the hatch open, you really do see how curved it is here and how it could impact loading some cargo. Once back here, you see a very nice low load floor, so there's not a big high lift over. Very nicely finished. You've got this hidden storage compartment under here where you have the nice storage space for the cargo cover out of the way totally. You don't have it bouncing around your garage or have it bouncing around the footwell there. You can drop the third row seats with the pull of a handle and they go down flat. So you have a very nice, long, flat load floor. If you do need to drop the second row seats, there are controls in here that allow you to just press a button and they fall down. So again, if you're bringing something long into the vehicle and all of a sudden you realize you need more space, you don't have to prop it up, run to the side doors, flip the seats down manually. There's buttons back there that are really nice. Final thing that you could see with here is that it's not too bad of a grab for the handles to pull the third row seats up, and they lock in at different heights. So you can see, you can have the seat adjusted if you want a little more of a recline when you're in that third row. Overall, the cargo area is really nicely finished, really well thought out, a lot of different adjustments. Aside from this curved styling, it's almost an A+. The Ioniq 9 also comes built in with a NACS or Tesla style charge port. If you do need to use the combined charging system or CCS charger, it comes with a standard adapter that you just pop in and then plug into that. There's plenty of get up and go from the 303 horsepower powertrain. Throttle response is instantaneous, and like a light switch, you have all that power immediately. It does tend to run out of a little bit of speed, maybe 70, 75 miles an hour. But for the most part, you hit the accelerator, hit the throttle, and you're going down the road and zipping down. On the road, the Ioniq 9 handles kind of what you would expect from a big SUV. It does have a low center of gravity because of the big battery that's low on the floor, but it's a tall vehicle. You do feel that it leans over in most high-speed turns, even moderately quick turns. You feel a lot of body roll. It's well contained. It doesn't wobble around, but you're certainly aware of the heft of this vehicle going around even some of the 40 or 45 mile an hour turns on our test track. It really does have natural feeling brakes. You get a really good response to pushing down the brake pedal. We do like that the adjustable regenerative braking system now can be adjusted during braking, which is a nice little change. It lets you moderate the level, while you're braking, so that you could take your foot off the brake and then use more or less regen when you're slowing down. If you do pull the max, it basically gives you full one pedal driving. So then right there, it'll slow very aggressively when you lift off the accelerator, but you don't have to use the brake to slow down. So coming up to a traffic light, you could just moderate the throttle. You could lift off a little and slow more, then lift off fully, and it'll come to a stop. So for the Ioniq 9, ride quality is pretty good. It absorbs bumps fairly well. Nothing really crashes through to the cabin. Not even, say, transverse ridges on a highway or something like that. The big potholes, you do hear them. One of the things that we like about the SEL version is that it has 20-inch wheels and tires. The bigger the wheels, like 22-inch wheels on some of the top trims, they're going to allow impacts to punch through even more. This light steering doesn't really communicate a ton of what's going on with the front wheels, so you don't exactly know grip levels. You don't really feel much coming back through to you to the steering wheel. All Ioniq 9s come standard with the full complement of safety gear that we at Consumer Reports think should be standard. So we're talking forward collision warning, automatic emergency braking with pedestrian detection, AEB that works at highway speeds, blind spot warning, rear cross traffic warning. So all that is standard. Overall, the Ioniq 9 is a powerful, comfortable, roomy, and refined three-row electric vehicle. In this growing category of three-row EV SUVs, it's a highly competitive model. For more on our test results for the Ioniq 9 and other electric vehicles, go to consumerreports.org.